All right. Hello guys. So, okay, let me just fix this. All right, cool. So in this video, I want to show you how we can build a blog with Hugo and be able to publish content to it from Notion. All right. So that sounds cool, but we're gonna see how that can be done. All right. So let me show you this thing is gonna go. We have Hugo, obviously. So this is like one of the most popular static site generators out there. It's written in Go, and well, it's fast. That's what they say, and I've used it before, and I can say it is quite fast. So this is Hugo, and yeah, so this is what we're going to use to build our blog. So our blog is going to be a static website, or yeah, a static website, and yeah, and you will publish content to it from Notion. And basically, this is the content that we want to publish. Yeah, so obviously it's a blog, so you're gonna have like blog posts, but we're gonna call it articles. In fact, let me just call it blog posts. So these are gonna be our blog posts. Obviously, these are Notion pages, so you have an author, and then you have a status, draft or published. Obviously, if it's published, we want it to show on our website, and if it's not published, we obviously, like, if it's not published, then we don't want it to show. And our blog has a description. The blog post has a description and also has tags. All right. And obviously here, like everything that's here is like the content of the blog post itself. All right. All right. So I have 3 blog posts here. Obviously, we can add more if you want, but I'll keep it to 3 for now, and then we're gonna see how this is gonna go. So the idea is that when we add a new blog and when we add a new blog post, and we fill in the author, the status, the description. Obviously, the status is gonna be like a draft first, and then we're gonna start filling in our content, and then set it to published. So once you set it to publish, what you want is for it to actually show up on our blog. That's gonna be written with Hugo. Alright, cool. Okay, so let me show you the theme that we're going to be using, or how the blog itself is going to look. Bliss. Alright, so this is how our blog is going to look like. So I found this thing to be quite, nice. So obviously, you're going to be publishing to it alone. So this is going to be a photo of you, hey, your name, small description of yourself. Okay, let's just say me, small description of me, about me, whatever, right here. And then these are going to be like the blog posts that we have here, right? So obviously you can see that the blog post is a thumbnail. We can figure that out as we go, like how we're gonna upload thumbnails to like add thumbnails to the blog. All right, so this is the title, and this is the description. Yeah, so blog post is like a title, small description, as you can see from like here. This is the title, this is the small description, and obviously this is the thumbnail. So if we click on a post, let's just see what's going to happen. Okay, that has to be my internet. Oh wow. All right. So when you click on a post, this is basically what you see. Like you're going to see the thumbnail. Oh yes, the date, like when the post was published. Yeah, when the post was published, let's just put it like that. And the title, and then the content of the blog post. And obviously you can see like every page has a small footer here. Follow me, and then small something. I work on everything coding, and tweet developer memes. All right, that's funny. And you're gonna have links to social media sites, Twitter, LinkedIn, GitHub, Medium, Reddit. I don't know what this one is. Well, maybe it's just okay. I don't know what that is. Yeah, and obviously you're gonna have the copyright text right here. So yeah, I mean, that's basically how our blog is gonna look like. All right. So cool. Let's get started. All right. So the first thing you want to do is obviously you want to install Hugo if you don't have it installed. I do have it installed, but if you didn't have it installed, you could install it on Mac. You could install it with Brew, install Hugo, and it will be installed automatically. I mean, not automatically, but it will be installed. But I already have it installed, so I'm good. So what you're gonna do now is create a new Hugo project or a new Hugo site. So how we're going to do that is just, let me first go to my desktop. I'm going to be working on my desktop. I'm going to create a new site. Okay, so to do that, we're just going to say Hugo, new site, my blog, all right? Okay, actually, I think let's first create a GitHub repo, and then just clone it into the desktop. All right, so what you're gonna do now is first, like, you're gonna create the GitHub repo where we're gonna keep our website code. Okay, my Wi-Fi is a bit bad. All right, we're gonna call it my blog, and just add this there. That's not right. I write a lot of stuff. And then we're going to keep it public. We are going to add a readme. Okay, we don't need to add the git ignore because I think Hugo will add one for us. Also, we're not gonna choose a license for now. I mean, there's no need at this point. Oh, I think so. So yeah, create a repo. Yeah, we're gonna create an empty repo. Well, not really empty because it's gonna have the readme file. Alright, so we have our repo created. So what you're gonna do now is we're just gonna clone this repo, and yeah, we're just gonna clone it, and then create a new Hugo project inside it, and then yeah, then we should be able to work from there. So I'm just gonna git clone my blog.git. So you should be able to clone it into my blog. Alright, there you go. Alright, now inside the repo, we're going to create a new Hugo site. So to do that, you just say Hugo new site, and then my blog. We're just going to use force because, well, the my blog folder already exists. So just use force so that it actually just, forces it to use that instead of it just throwing an exception. Alright, cool. There we go. So yeah, it's now created. So I think we can now open it. So Control O, and then we find my blog. There we go. I'm just gonna open it. Yeah, cool. So if you check, the folder that you just created or the site that you just created, you'll find that it's basically empty. There's like nothing. Let me check what's here. I mean, nothing much here. So yeah, it's basically empty. So what you're gonna do now, first of all, you're gonna need to install a theme. And like I said, the theme we'll be using is the Bliss theme. All right. So let's go find the Bliss theme. Bliss. There we go. Alright, so we're going to be installing this thing. So just copy the URL. We will clone it into our project. So git clone we clone it into themes bliss. All right, so that's where we actually gonna clone the theme that we'll be using. Alright, cool. So if you check on the themes list, now our theme will be installed. But for the sake of this video and keeping things simple, I'm going to remove it as a submodule because by default, because we clone a repo inside another repo, Git is going to add it to the submodule. Well, I assume. Well, that's how it's going to take it because there's also a .git folder in this in this place folder. So we're just going to go to our file explorer, or yeah, a reading finder, and then we okay, just want to go back a little. So you're going to remove this .git folder so that this bliss theme we just downloaded is going to be part of our repo. Like the source files are going to be added like into our project. Oh, like this is what I mean. Alright, cool. Yeah, things are cool so far. So what you have to do now is basically take everything under example site. So if you go to themes list, take everything under example sites and just copy it into the root folder. Remember, our root folder is basically empty, like there's nothing there. So you're just going to take the example site and bring it into our root folder so that we have something to work with or start with. Alright, so just going to move, replace everything. Alright, example site should be empty now, so we can delete it. Move to trash. Alright, so you'll notice that under themes list we have this package.json file. So you're just going to take that, copy it and paste it in the root folder. And just paste it here. Alright, cool. I think now we're ready to actually start to actually test our blog. So I'm just gonna clear that and cool. Let's first of all let's run npm install. If we run npm install, like from our root folder, it's supposed to install all the packages needed to actually build our website. Remember, this package.json file was just what we copied from the package.json file that came with the bliss theme. Alright, cool. So I think okay. 3K plus. That's a lot. So what we need to do is just ignore everything under node modules. Okay, I see it already ignores it. Yeah. So let's ignore everything under node modules from the root folder. There we go. Alright, now we can test well, like we can test the site that we have so far. So if we run Hugo server, Hugo server, just run Hugo server, and it's supposed to build serve the website that we have so far. So let me just check that. We can just click on this link right here, and then it's supposed to open it. There we go. So this is how our website looks right now, or our blog to be more specific. So what we're gonna do now is basically customize it. So you're gonna change this to something something we want, and I'm gonna change this to my name. Just add another thing here. Maybe I love riding bicycles. Maybe write that, and let's see. I'm gonna change this later, obviously. and obviously we're gonna pull these from Notion. All right, the blog posts or articles, whatever you want to call them. And let me see what else. Well, this we can leave this for now. I mean, for the sake of this video, I mean, like, you can change them after. I mean, the links to, the social stuff. So the copyright tags, just need to change this right here. But I think this is actually changed with this. So we're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see. We go to the about. Okay, we can also change this, but again, I can change it later. The tags, and yeah, the tags obviously they're going to be updated as as you post articles with different tags, more those tags will show up here basically. And then you go to blog, it's the same thing. So if you check just next to the search thingy, there's like dark theme, light theme, dark theme, light theme. Okay, that's not important for us. So what you're gonna do now is basically go back to our VS Code and just yeah, and just update those things we just mentioned. All right, so now we're back in VS Code. I'm just gonna look for the config.tom file, so which is this one. So basically we're gonna update like customize the website from there. First, you want to change the title. We're going to call it my blog because that's what we want. And the theme is Bliss. Okay, we're going to leave that. The base URL, once we have it deployed, we can change the base URL. But for now, we will leave it like that. So when we deploy it, just hopefully I remember we come back here and just update the base URL. Okay, now let's just check what else can you change from here? Okay, I don't want to change so much because I'm afraid of breaking anything. But I'm just gonna make sure that we do change, what you have to change. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the hey. I am Ambatandwa, and this is my surname. Intro subtitle: 26-year-old junior developer enjoys social games, blogging, and painting. I mean, if we have to aid our age, okay, let's say 20-year-old full stack developer who enjoys designing systems. Okay, that's too much. I mean, who enjoys writing code and riding bicycles. There we go. So that is me. Alright, now the intro photo. So basically this intro photo is, let me show you, static. Right here, picture.jpg. This is the intro photo. I'm not going to change it now because I don't have any photo right now, but I am going to change it later. So we're just going to keep, let me see how does this one there. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're gonna keep it like this for now, but we are gonna change it later. What else can you change? You're gonna keep those pleased. Okay, this is like the Dutch, I think. Alright, we're gonna keep these ones like this, even though they are wrong. But we'll just keep it like this. Because I don't know, I don't know this language, so. But yeah, definitely I'm gonna remove it later. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I just wanna, show you guys how to publish, the content from Notion to our blog, to our hosted blog. So I don't wanna, spend too much time on things I can do later. So let's see, enable the dark mode. Okay, I mean, sometimes at night people want the dark mode. Just gonna update this to my name. So this is me. All rights reserved. Color for the intro details and any color from Terry CSS. Okay, for me, okay, I'm gonna leave this like this, even though I don't work on developer memes and I don't tweet much about coding. I tweet much a lot about robots and stuff, so not about coding, but yeah. Okay, let me just add my Twitter. Okay, now I can add it later. And yeah, basically that's all for now. Let's just see how it looks. Hey, I'm Basandra. My blog, they change. I'm a 20-year-old full-stack developer who enjoys writing code, riding bicycles, and riding bicycles. And riding bicycles. Alright, I don't see the end. Do I have to refresh? And riding bicycles, there we go. Okay, let's see. For me, alright, cool. I think everything we wanted to change is changed, basically. Yeah, everything you wanted to change is basically changed. All right, now we're gonna focus on the articles, like publishing content from Notion. All right, so I don't think I told you guys the tool we're gonna be using is called. So basically, Hugo is a static site generator, right? And Notion is a note-taking app. So we need a way to connect these two such that Hugo builds our website with data from Notion. All right, so that's what you're going to do, and the tool that you're going to use for that is called let me try to remember. motionlink.literal. Yeah, the tool you're going to use is called motionlink. It's yeah, you can just find it at motionlink.literal.com. So it allows you to publish content to your blog, portfolio, and documentation websites directly from Notion. So you could be doing backend rendering for your blog, or you could be, as in our case, using a static site generator. But I think it works best with a static site generator. So how it works? Okay, I'm going to show you how it works now, but let's just go to this. So they say it's super easy to use, designed from the ground up to be easy to set up so you can quickly get your content out there. It's built for high traffic, so MotionLink can be integrated with any static site generator. Alright, so we'll be using Hugo. And it allows your web pages to be served at lightning speed with any hosting servers, and obviously it's powered by Notion. So, I mean, if you use Notion for your work, your school, and your everything, like you manage your teams on Notion and, all your knowledge is basically on Notion, then it makes sense that, if you want to write a blog, then you keep using Notion. You don't want to use a third-party CMS, because then you're going to need to transfer all your data to that third-party CMS. So yeah, that's what MotionLink is. Let's see how it works. So basically, let me show you how it works. So we have the Notion app. We have the MotionLink system, if you can call it that. And then you're going to have a GitHub workflow. So what we're going to write is the GitHub workflow and some setup from our code base. And yeah, so from the Notion app, so this thing works basically on events. So if you change the name of a database, or you change a page from Notion, right? So you change a page from Notion. So by change, I mean, like, let's say you move a page from drafts to published content, then, that's going to trigger a change event, and MotionLink listens for those change events, and then it finds all repos, all GitHub repositories that are linked to the database. In our case, that's going to be our blog posts or our articles. So it's going to find all the GitHub repos, which we already created. It's going to find the GitHub repos that are linked to the database that it changed, and then it's going to push a tag to that repo. And yeah, the tag will be, let me see if we can enlarge this image. Yeah, so the tag will have this form, MotionLink, and let's start there. All right, and from our GitHub workflow, we're gonna listen to this tag, and then when we receive the tag, we're gonna pull all the Notion pages to Markdown. We're then gonna run Hugo, our static site generator, and then we're gonna publish our website to Netlify. All right. So let me try to explain that again. So you write a page. I mean, you add an article to like from Notion. You add a new blog post, and you set your status to publish. Right. That's gonna trigger a changed event, and then Motion Link will we find the repo, connect it to this database, and then it's going to tag the repo to tell it, hey, the data you depend on has just been modified. And then our repo is going to run a workflow, which is going to pull the Notion pages to Markdown. We're going to use the Motion Link CLI for that. So it's going to pull the Notion pages to Markdown, and then it's going to run the static site generator. And then once we've done that, we're going to publish the output to the hosting service, which is basically going to be Netlify. So yeah, that's what Motion Link is, or that's how we're going to use it. Actually, that's how they explain it. So yeah, that's basically how we're going to be building our blog, basically. All right, so the first thing we want to do, obviously, is to, okay, so if you look at this step, it says that we need to find the repos linked to the change database. So to link a repo to a Notion database, we basically first have to create a board, and yeah, that's what you're going to do right now. We're going to link our blog post to our GitHub repo. Cool. Hopefully hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we're now in Notion, and I want to show you how to link a GitHub repo, how to link a Notion database, like how we're going to link our Notion database to our GitHub repo, such that when we change a page from draft to published, our GitHub repo will be tagged so that it can publish the new article or blog post. So how we're going to do that? First of all, we're going to need to create a new integration. So what this integration is going to do is basically gonna be like, the bot that you will associate with Motion Link. All right. So you go to your settings and members, and then you click on integrations, from the left, and then click on develop your own integrations. And all right, cool. I already have some integrations I've been experimenting with. Okay, this one I'm already using it as my for my personal website. So I'm just gonna create a new integration just specifically for this video. So basically, you click on, okay, let me go back. You click on create new integration. You give the integration a name. Let me call it Motion Link video, because I'm gonna delete it once I've finished with the video. And obviously, you want to be careful to select the workspace you want the integration to have access to. So this is the workspace that I'm using, my weekend projects, or this is the workspace that I'm using for this video, my weekend projects. So I'm just going to add it there. And yes. Yeah, I think that's everything we need for now. So click submit, and yeah. So if you go to our integrations, we should see our new integration, this one right here. So this is the integration that we'll be using. All right, so what you want to do is copy the integration token. You're going to copy the integration token, and then we go to Motion Link. So if we go to Motion Link, open the console. Alright, so once you've opened MotionLink, it's going to ask you to sign in with your GitHub account. So that's what you're going to do. So just click sign in with GitHub. Alright, cool. Once you've signed in, it's going to ask you to connect MotionLink to Notion by entering the integration token or the integration key in the field below. Notion integrations can be managed. Okay, cool. So you already copied the integration token, so just come paste it here. So if you just in case you forgot, this is the token that we copied, so just copy it again, and then you just come paste it here, and then click connect to Notion. Alright, cool. So there we go. We now in MotionLink. So what we're gonna do now is connect our Notion database to our GitHub repo. Alright. So how we do that? First of all, we need to go back to our Notion. Alright. So we're gonna go back to our Notion, and just the way it says share, you want to select the MotionLink bot you're using, which is MotionLink video. So, okay, let me go back. So you click share, and then just click on the small box here. And then where it says MotionLink video, that's the bot that you want to select. So that means MotionLink will be able to detect changes or listen for changes from Notion through this bot. So invite, and there we go. So, okay, you can change the, okay, I think I need to upgrade my account maybe. So our bot has been added. So now we can go back to MotionLink and connect our Notion database to the GitHub repo. So let's call this, okay, so how I like to do this, like how I like to name my links is, I will start with the project name, my blog, and just put a slash there, and then the name of the database I have, like the name for the database I want to link. So my blog post /post. All right, so now you're going to select the Notion database, and because you only shared the blog post database, it's going to show the blog post database here. So just select that, the blog post database, and select the GitHub repo you want to share. You want to connect, you want to link the database to. So for me, it's my blog, and then you're going to create the link. So I'm just gonna once it finalizes everything, there we go. So yeah, Notion, my blog post, to GitHub, my blog. All right, so there we go. Now we've connected MotionLink to our, we've connected our Notion database to our GitHub repo. So how the tagging actually works, let me show you. So if we go back to, okay, let me show you how our GitHub repo looks for now. Like, I want to show you the tags. Okay, create new release. Okay, I'm gonna find tags. Oh, okay, so MotionLink pushed this tag. I think after you create a new link, it pushes like an initial tag, perhaps to test things. Yeah, I assume. So it pushed this tag, and so I want to show you like what happens when you update something from, okay, let's remove this because now I'm getting lost here. So let's remove this as well, and we can keep that. All right, so we have one tag, right? Let me refresh. So one tag. Now let's say we move this article to published, right? And then we go back to our repo. Now let's refresh and see how many tags have been pushed. Oh, still one. It takes at most 10 seconds for the repo to be tagged. So there we go. So a new tag has been pushed because we just published a new article. So let me show you like how nice it is when it comes to the publishing and unpublishing thing. So let's say we take this guy back to draft, right? This time it will not tag it. This time it will not tag it because, well, I mean, it will not tag it. Okay, we must remove that. Right, now I want to show you like what happens when you I want to show you like how we add a new article and how it's gonna, how our rep will be tagged. So I'm gonna call this one my fourth article. And obviously as the author, I'm gonna write my name, the status. Initially, you want your articles to be in draft so that you can continue, so that you can, write the content, and then you publish them. See, the thing is, if it's in published, right? If it's in published and you write your content after, like you set it to publish and then you write your content, for every letter you type, Motion Link will tag your repo. Like, let's say you're writing hello, right? It's going to tag your repo about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, which of course is, not what you want. So what you want to do is put your repo, your article in draft, write your content, and then only then do you, set it to publish. That's how like the status field work. So the description, my third article description, my third article description, the tags, okay, I'm just gonna write anything here. Article, writing, yeah, that's gonna be the only tag. And then obviously we can add our content, hello, 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 hi there, it is us here, the sun is shining so bright, and let's just add an emoji, just to look cool. Yeah, so okay, so that's our content, and yeah, that's our article. Now let's go back to our repo and see. Right, as you can see, we still have like two tags that have been pushed. Let's refresh just to verify that. All right, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, I think that's because okay, I don't know why I did that. I think maybe it's because we messed around with this. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's see how many tags we have, because I want to show you like when your article is in draft, it does not push anything to your repo. It does not tag your repo. So I'm just gonna add more content. How is it going? How's it going? And how's it going? This is good. You're making a blog. We're making a blog. Lol. Alright, so if we go back, remember we had 4 and our thing was in draft. Now we're just gonna refresh and we still have 4. So basically when your article is in draft and you add content, it doesn't tag your repo. Alright, so let's continue going. I'm gonna write my name is Matandra. My name is Matandra. What is yours? My name is Matandra. What is yours? So let's go back to our repo. We had 4. It's still supposed to be 4 because our article is still in draft. We haven't published anything yet. Okay, my Wi-Fi is really going mad today. Someone must be streaming movies really hard. All right, as you can see, it's still 4. Let me refresh that again. All right, it's still 4 tags. So now what I want to do now is basically show you when we publish the thing. So now we've written or we've done all of this. Now I want to show you when we publish it. Let's say we move it from draft to published. Now we should tag our repo. So let's go back to our repo. So we have 4 tags. So now let's refresh. All right, as you can see, okay, don't mind this 2 minutes ago because my Wi-Fi is really messed up. So we set our article to published and it tagged our repo. So that's basically how it works. You create a new blog post, you set it to drafts, you write your content, and then you set it to publish. Then you tag your repo, and then we can then respond to that tag by writing a GitHub workflow that basically builds our website, pulls the data from Notion, and deploys it to, let's say, to Netlify, because that's what you're going to be using in this video, Netlify. So yeah, that's Motion Link. Now what you're going to do now, we're gonna install Motion Link in our project, and we're gonna start integrating it, like tell it which data to pull and how to pull it. All right, so what you're gonna do now is we're gonna use the Motion Link CLI to pull data from Notion and pull it into Markdown into our folders. So the Motion Link CLI, you can learn more about it. Let me see right here. You can learn more about the CLI tool right here. All right. Yeah, this is the CLI tool I have. It's really great because it allows you to basically pull content from Notion to Markdown pages in your GitHub workflow, and then run your static site generator from there to build a website and push it to Netlify. So that's what you're going to be doing now. Okay, first we need to install it. I'm just going to copy this and you go back to your project. I'm going to create a new window right here, and then we paste it here. npm install Motion Link CLI save dev. So we're supposed to install it, and then we can start writing our Motion Link config file. Cool, so let's do that. I'm gonna write the Motion Link config file. So motionlink.config.js file. Okay, I don't want to write this from scratch, so I'm just going to go to their docs and just copy what they had already written. Yeah, let's start here. Let me see, what do they have? Yeah, and let's start here. Let's copy that, and then I'm just going to paste it here. So yes, it's working. Right, so basically you define rules. You define rules before. So a rule is basically something that tells, like, it's basically a structure that tells Motion Link how to pull your data from Notion and how to transform it into a text file. So the text file that we're going to be using is the format of the text file would be Markdown. All right. So yeah, so that's what you're going to tell it: pull pages from Notion and transform them into Markdown. All right. So okay, we're going to write this ourselves. Hopefully we get it right. All right. So let's create our first template rule. So a template rule has a template, right? A template is the first thing that you actually need for a template rule. So motion link. Okay, we're gonna create a new file called motion link templates. Blog post template dot markdown. All right. Let's leave this for now. Let's put it here, and then let's just create this file, and then because once you know the structure of the file, we can query on with the rest of the config file. So motion link templates. So motion link templates. Blog post. Yeah, blog post.md. So motion link templates, blog post.md. Cool. So let's just open it. Wait, no. I wanted to create a file, not a folder. So let's delete that. Create a new file. Blog post.md. Okay, let's just update this. Blog post, and this is gonna be templates. Cool stuff. Now we just need to copy our. We just need to find one blog post. Just under content, English, blog post or blog. Just find one blog post and. Okay, don't want to paste it here. One blog post, copy it, and then just can paste it here. And then remove this. Okay, we're gonna remove. Let me see. We're gonna remove everything under the front meta. So remove that. And what you're gonna have here, you're gonna learn now what the other data thing means. So what you're gonna have here is other data.content. All right. So our blog post is gonna have this content right here. So other data.content, and the author, we're gonna do the same. Other data.author. And the title, same thing. So 1, 2, 3, other data.title. And the date, same thing. Other data.date. Actually, no, let's do this one like this. Let's say created no, let me just say other data dot date. So description. Now remember all this other data.author, other data.title, other data.date, and all this other stuff that we're filling in. They will all be pulled from Notion, right? And the thumbnail, we will also pull it from Notion, but for now we're gonna leave it like this. I'll show you later in the video or just after the blog post how we can pull thumbnails from Notion. It's really interesting, this one, leave it a little bit later. So the description is also going to be in other data dot description. So motion link will use this template file to populate everything that's going to come in the content en blog folder, right? So everything that's going to come here will be built according to this template file, all right? So we have template motion link underscore templates blog post.md. Now we need, okay, let's just check. So we have our template, we need our output folder. Cool, now that's interesting. So our out dir is going to be, all right, so motion link works with the root folder. So our out dir is going to be content en blog, right? because that's where the articles pulled from Notion are going to be written. They're going to be written in this folder. We want them to be written in this folder so that Hugo can find them and build a website. So we got our idea. What else do we need? Now we need. We don't have any secondary databases, so also users is useful if, for example, you want to populate let's say we are populating a blog post, like the markdown content for a blog post. Let's say we are populating it from multiple databases, right? So you put the main database in users, right? Like users will put the main database rule here, and then the other secondary databases will come in also users, right? So, but we only building the content or generating the content of a blog post from one database, which is the articles database we created. So we don't need any other secondary databases. So we're just going to use the also users. So also users, let me see. I mean, not also users. We're not going to use also users. We're going to use users. Use users here. So users database. So the database we're going to pull from is called. It's going to be alias with post, and we want to fetch blogs, right? So by default, Motionlink does not fetch the blogs for your pages. So we want to make sure that we check that we do pull the blogs. All right, cool. So now that we fetched the blogs, what we want to do is map the pages. So what map does is take a Notion page and return the same page, but now we're going to populate the other data field, all right? So, we're going to take a context. So we take a Notion page and the context, and we're going to populate, what do you call this? You're going to populate the other data field, But the first thing you want to do is set, so when the file is written into the content en blog folder, we want to set the file name. So how we do that, we want to set the file name from the title of the blog post, right? So how we do that is, first of all, we want to find the title of the blog post. So, all right, let me see what they have here on how we can get the title, because we're going to get the title into Markdown. So getting started, there we go. So you want to import the Markdown servers. Just going to copy this. So import the Markdown servers, the object transformers. Now what you want to do is get the page title, which is going to be, you just want to do the page title. So you're going to do that. You're just going to say page title is going to be equal to object transformers dot transform all pay Notion. This should be page because this is a page. This is a Notion page. So page dot properties. Page dot data dot properties dot the property we're looking for is the title. All right, the blog post title. Let me show you this property. So if we go back to our Notion database, and if we set it as like a board, not a board, let's add a new view on a table. Please, no. Yeah, let's make it a table. I'm just going to call this table view. All right, cool. So this is the property we're talking about. So you're just going to change it to title, because this is basically this column is basically, the titles of the blog posts or the articles. So let's so this space is basically the title. Now we're just going to go back and continue with that. So page.title dot title, page.title.title. Yes. So that's going to pull the page title. Now to set the file name, you're just going to say page._title is equal to page title. Now this is going to be the name that's going to be used to write the file, right? So in a real project, or in when doing your blog, I would suggest that you actually escape this file, this name, to basically like be a safe file name, for example, right? And what you're going to do now is, all right, so that's our page. Now we have to return that same page. You just want to check that it works, and then you're going to carry on with populating the other data field. So clear. All right, now we need to run Notion link to actually see if it can pull the data from Notion. So you're going to run npx motion link, and we're now going to need post is going to be equal to, so we need to let it know that post is actually equal to which database we're talking about. So to do that, you just go to the motion link console, and this is the database we're talking about, the blog post database. You just want to copy the access key, just like this. Another thing that you can do, so instead of having to click this and then copy here, what you can do is, let's say you have multiple links and you just want to copy all the all the access keys. So what you do is basically just select it here and click show args, and it's going to tell you that post is equal to this access key. So this is what we want. Yeah, so that's what you're going to copy. Obviously, if you just have one, then obviously you already know. And see, it already knows that you're talking about posts. So this is one of the reasons why I said, name your project, put your project name first, and then put a slash, and then post. Because what it does, it takes everything that's after the slash as the name of the, as the name of the database you're gonna use in your motion link console. So that's why I said pick this naming. So let's just do that and copy these arguments, and we're just gonna post them. Alright, so you're just gonna copy those arguments and paste them here. So there we go. So npx motion link post is equal to which database we're talking about. But obviously this is the access key. This is the access key, not the ID of the database, as you can see, as you can find, from Notion. So you find the access key from, as I've just shown you, just click on the link and you copy the access key. All right. Now we can actually build our, let's try to build our blog post. Not build, fetch our blog post. All right, let's see, still fetching. There we go. So check this out. Content, it pulled content en my fourth article. That's one of the articles we have. Copy of lorem 1, that's one of the articles we have. Lorem ipsum, copy of lorem 2, that's one of the articles we have. So we can be sure that it's basically reading, it now has access to, or it can read our databases. Now let's just see the structure of the files that it actually reads. So look at this. So author is empty because we didn't tell it what's the author or the description or all those stuff. So what you're going to do now, we're going to go back to our config file and let populate this author, title, date, description, and and content field. So yeah, let's do that. I'm going to remove this as well. So this is our template. All right, we already have the page title, so all we can do is say page.other data dot title is equal to page title. All right, and then we can say page dot other data dot author is equal to, we're going to transform everything, transform all page dot data dot properties dot author. So author is a rich text property. So if you go back here, author, it's a rich text property. So you're just going to transform that dot rich text, dot author dot rich text. So what else do we have? Again, let me just copy this, copy and paste, and what we have is the date. Okay, we don't want to transform the date because, so basically what object transformers dot transform all, it basically takes what you have, or I mean the value of the property, which I mean, let's say for example the author dot rich text property, it's going to take it and transform it into markdown. All right, so but if your property does not have any formatting, or the value does not have any formatting, for example author here does not have any formatting, like there's no bold or italic text, it's going to retain the text, it's going to retain the value as is. All right, so if there's no formatting, it's going to retain the value as it is. And that's how we're basically using it for page title and the author and data. Yeah, that's basically how we're able to use it for the front matter. So okay, other data dot date, we don't want to transform the date because I mean it's a what do you call this, it's a property that actually comes with the Notion page. It's not something we control, it's just a text property, so and there's no need to transform anything, right? I mean, you can never have any formatting. So page dot created, okay, page dot data dot created time. So what this going to return is the string that basically tells us when the page was created, which is most likely when the article was written. And what you can also do is change this to updated last edited time. So basically it's gonna give you the time when this page was last edited. In fact, let's use last edited. Let's use last edited as the date of our blog post, basically. All right, okay. All right. So the date, because if you look at the articles that came with the theme, this is how they have the date. You first have the year, then the month, and then the actual the day. But last edited time is actually an ISO something. Let me just check the Notion documents regarding that. So just gonna create a new Notion API. So let's just check the reference on how the last edited time property is formatted. Because yes. So dates, dates, temporal values are encoded in. Yeah, let me just retrieve a page and then you're going to see the properties. The page object. And let's see, last edited time. Yeah, it's an ISO A601 date and time, which basically looks like this, but this is not what we want. In fact, let me see. Yeah, I mean, I think it is like that. So I think we can leave it like that, see how it renders, and then we can perhaps fight it thereafter. For now, let's leave it like that. yeah, I say we leave it like that because I mean, also starts with the year, then comes the month, and then the date. So if it's throwing an error, then we can fix it because we have the date. So okay, we got the author, we got the title, we got the date. Now you just need to pull the description. So page dot other data dot description is equal to object transformers dot transform all page dot properties dot description. By the way, I always prefer that I have all my column names or my property names in capital letters. So let me show you this. I mean, like they start with capital letters. That's what I mean. So like title starts with capital letters, data starts with capital letter, author starts with capital letter, description, tags, and yeah. So I always prefer that. I mean, you know, some people do it. So description is a rich text property. So that's what we want, rich text. And what else do we need? Okay, the math is true. Let's leave that. The thumbnail, we're gonna see how we're gonna do that like shortly. All right, let me just format. Okay, let me just format here because it's gonna mess up everything. Page context, yes. All right, now what you want to do is populate the content, like the actual content of the page. So how you do that, you say page dot other data dot what is this? Dot content is equal to context. So we use context because context is what allows us to transform the blocks of a page into markdown. All right. Yeah, you can obviously override how the blocks are transformed into markdown, but that's another video. You can learn more about that in the motion link documentation and the GitHub repo. I think they do say something about transforming I mean adding your own transformers for certain blocks. So yeah, you do check that out. So okay, you don't want fetch media, we want gen markdown. So yeah, so this method transforms the given blocks to markdown with block transformers in services markdown service. The output of this function is, I assume it's supposed to be not formatted, so basically it's going to be ugly, but it will still render like to still render properly. It's just not formatted. I mean, you will probably see extra spacing where it's not necessary to add extra spacing and stuff like that. So, oh yes, here's the they say you can modify the block transformers and object transformers objects to provide custom transformers or otherwise add new transformers. So to provide custom transformers, let's say your static site generator does not recognize the way like the markdown used for, let's say, a link preview. Okay, let's not say link preview because motion link does not support link previews, which you can have, of course, add your own transformer for to give support for link previews in your website. Let's say I'm trying to find something that's actually happening in the real world. Let's say an embed, right? Let's say you embed a YouTube video. Let's say you embed a YouTube video in your Notion page, and your static site generator does not recognize the markdown motion link generates for a YouTube video embed. I mean, so what you can do, you can provide your own transformer so that every time there's a video embed, you can provide your own markdown, obviously. So that's what they mean by objects to provide custom transformers or otherwise add new transformers. So link previews, for example, you can add your own transformers for link previews, but yeah, I mean that's what they basically mean by that. Alright, so what you want is to generate markdown, so let's do that. So context or gen markdown for blocks, and we're gonna say page. So page.blogs, and yeah, so there we go. So our website or our config file is now pulling everything that we basically need. So let's test that and see if it works. Okay, let me just clear. Okay, so other data, title, author, date, description. Yeah, I think we have everything. Okay, we probably made a mistake. Let's see. Cannot read properties of undefined. Reading description. Description. Dot rich text. Okay. Page.data.properties. There we go. So be careful there. Page.properties does not exist, but page.data.properties. So the data is like the data object is, if you go through the Notion API. Where is it now? There we go. So the data is basically a page object as defined in the Notion API. In the Notion documentation for the API. So this is how a page object looks like. This is in data. So the model for page is just an encapsulation for, like, I think it's just a model that Motion Link uses. So yeah, so page.data.properties, just stick to that. Yeah, so that should be fine. Let's clear and try to build again. Okay, we were supposed to save it, so my bad for that. Alright, there we go. So if you check this one, there we go. So everything has been populated. So we have the author, Batandua, we have the title, this is copy of LRM1, the date, and some description here, and blah blah blah. So and we also have like the content of the page as we have written it in Notion. So what we can do now is basically look how this renders on our website or on our blog. And yeah, there we go. So this is amazing. So this is our blog, and all of this is pulled from Notion. Like all of this is pulled from Notion. And Hugo already organizes them by already orders them such that the latest ones show up first. So yeah. Alright, so my fourth article is just click on it, and obviously you still want to change the thumbnail, so don't worry about that. Oh yeah, so just as we've written it, hello, the sun is shining so bright. How's it going? Yeah, all that, bad text you wrote there. Yeah, so this is working, alright? So what we have now is a config file that can pull data from our Notion database and put it into our blog post. All right, so what you want to do now is change the thumbnail. So what we're going to do now is basically change the thumbnail. So by thumbnail I mean this thing. So we want to pull this from Notion. So if you check like websites like what do you call it, this reading site I use a lot, Medium. Yes, Medium. If you check websites like Medium, you will notice that the first image is used as a thumbnail, right? And yeah, and it works quite well, and that's what we're actually going to do. So the first image in the Notion page is going to be used as a thumbnail. That's the algorithm that we're going to write. So gallery, and so if I open a page, what you want is that we're going to add an image right here, and that image is going to be used as the thumbnail for our article. All right. I think what you can also do is add a cover, but let me see how nicely that shows. Oh, it doesn't show anything now. So because if you add like if we okay, I want to remove this cover, but now it's not allowing me to. Change cover, remove, yes. So yeah, so what you want, just add an image there, because I want to show you that if you add it here, it's also gonna show up, on your dashboard, if you can call it like that, and it's gonna show up so nicely. So let's do that. All right. So what you're gonna do now is just add an image to our what do you call this? To our articles. Like add images for our articles. So just gonna click there. Let's remove that. And then I'm gonna add an image. I'm gonna choose an image and alright, so we've added an image to this one. Let's do the same for all of them. Image, upload. Let's add something. Let's add this one. Okay, so this one is sorted. So this is what I was talking about how nicely they show up on the dashboard. Yeah, like they show up really nicely on the dashboard. So let's just do the same for all of them. Choose an image and let's take this one, and okay, let's leave it loading. Let's come here and choose an image, and we're gonna take this one. All right, there we go. So now we have 4 articles and they all have thumbnails, and now we want to show those thumbnails on our website. All right, so what you're gonna do now, we're gonna modify our motion link config file such that it fetches our images, or it fetches the first image in the article and uses it as the thumbnail of the article. So yeah, so that's what you're gonna do now. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the URL. Okay, if you notice here, right? So it says thumbnail, and then the link to the image to actually fetch. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the link, but we want this to be like the base URL. We want to read it from our Hugo config file, which is going to be this value over here. All right, so this is what we want. This, so you're gonna read it, and then you're gonna put a slash there, and then just add in the file name of the image we want to link to. Anyway, yeah, let's get started. First of all, we just have to fetch the images from what do you call this, from Notion, and then use them as the thumbnail. So we're first going to import the block transformers, because we want to modify the image transformer. Let me show you now what I mean by that. So block transformers, markdown service.block transformers. Alright, so there we have our block transformers. Now, just before we generate the markdown, we want to have our logic to basically fetch fetch the image as the first one, as a thumbnail. Alright, cool. So first of all, let's just capture the default image transformer. So we're just going to capture that so that since we're going to overwrite it, we don't lose it. So default image transformer is block transformers dot image. All right, and then we're now gonna override it. So block transformers. Okay, let me modify this to be block transformers, like that. Yeah. So this should be, there we go. So block transformers, so block transformers dot image is going to be equal to, okay, we're going to get the block, and we're going to get the template rule, and then we're going to use our own logic to basically capture the block transformer. All right, first of all, let's just create a variable where we're going to keep the thumbnail block. So the thumbnail block is going to be undefined for now. In fact, I don't think we need to say it's undefined. It's going to be undefined by default. So let's just type it. So this is going to be a Notion block. All right. So this is a Notion block. So by default, it's undefined. So here's what's going to happen. We're overriding the default image transformer. So as you know, Notion, like a Notion page has blocks. Like everything in a page is basically a block. So when we generate the markdown and we come across an image block, we want to execute the logic that we're going to be placing here, basically. And if that image block is the first image block we get, like that's in the page, we're gonna use that block as the thumbnail of the image. All right. So that's the logic we'll be placing here. So let's just write that. So if the thumbnail block is undefined, so in other words, this is the first image block we get it. All right. So thumbnail block is going to be equal. Remember, it's a Notion block, so you can just check this file here. So Notion block has data, which is the block that we have here, and it also has children. We don't have children, so this block doesn't have children. I'm just going to put an empty array there. So data is going to be block, and children is going to be an empty array. All right, there we go. So yeah. So we capture that, and we're supposed to return the markdown to basically include that image. So what the default image transformer does, it basically returns a string like this. I mean, if you understand markdown, it returns a string like this. And then here there's the the link to the image, and then here there is the caption. So that's what the default image transformer is going to do. But since we're using our own transformer here, and we don't want to transform this thumbnail, we're gonna handle it ourselves. We're just gonna return an empty string. Otherwise, if this image block is not the first one, if let's say this is the second or third image block we are being asked to transform, what we want to do is just use the default transformer. All right, so we're just going to return what the default transformer does. So it's going to take the block, and then it's going to take the rule. There we go. So that's our logic. So once we generate markdown, every time we see an image, our logic is going to be executed here. So let's just move this here. Now what we're going to do here is basically check if thumbnail block is still null, because if it's still null, it means that the article does not have an image, right? Like the page has no image blocks or doesn't have any image block, and we don't want that to be the case for our blog. Every article must have an image because we need a thumbnail for it. So what we're going to do for that, we're just going to check if thumbnail block is still undefined. we just want to throw an error so that the publisher or the author or whoever is in charge knows that, hey, you forgot to include the thumbnail here. All right, there we go. So that's what we're doing now. So let me just say throw new error. Please add an image to the article with in fact, let's include the page title, since we already have the page title. So with title, page title, this will be used as the thumbnail. All right, this will be used as a thumbnail. Cool. So if an article doesn't have a thumbnail, we throw an error. All right, if it does have a thumbnail, now we can fetch the media and do the processing. So let's see. Okay, what we have to do now is, all right, first of all, let's just do it like this. This if statement is not really necessary. We're doing it so that we can get some really nice typing here in VS Code. So if thumbnail.data.type is equal to image. So this is not really necessary because we already know that this thumbnail block is an image block. All right. So the reason why I'm doing it is because we get some really nice typing here in VS Code. If we do it like that. So I mean type checking, yeah, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, so now we have our image block, and let's get the media object. You're gonna get the media object. So media object is gonna be equal to context dot fetch media. So what this method does, it basically fetches our media and it returns an object with an src string and a caption, and a caption string with basically the markdown for the caption. So the src is basically going to be like a path. It's going to be like a path. It's going to be like a path relative to our root directory. So we don't want that relativity right now. We just want to get the base file name. I'm going to show you why I want to do that, because when I get the base file name and just paste it or just insert it somewhere here, and obviously you're going to modify the base URL and then just insert the base file name there. All right. Okay, let me show you what you mean by that. So fetch media, and the file object is going to be thumbnail block.data.image. The image is the file object, or the image field is the file object. All right, so now we got our media object, and what you need to do now is get the base file name. All right, so base name is, let's import path. So we're going to import path is equal to require path, and we're going to say path dot base name for media object dot src. There we go. So now we have our base name for our article thumbnail. It's going to be fetched, and in fact, let's tell Motion Link where the media should be written to. All right. So we want this media to be written in the static folder. All right. So since we're writing images, like since the media of interest here is the image, it's going to be in static images. So let me create a folder just to show you that. So the images will be inside this images folder. All right. So if we had videos and let's say PDFs and other stuff, so more folders are going to be created by Motion Link to actually store the different media. So images will be stored in the image folder. videos will be stored in their folder, and audio will be stored in its own folder, and PDFs in their own folder, things like that. So we can delete this because Motion Link is going to do it for us automatically. Alright, cool. So now we have a base name. What we want now is to append this base name to the base URL. Alright, this base URL here. But what we don't want is to copy this base URL and come use it in our code, because now we need to, if let's say we move our website, we need to change this URL here and change it here. So what you're going to do is load this config file, config.tom file, and read the base URL field from it. All right. So to do that, we're first going to install a package called toml. So save dev toml. Alright, we can now just import it and require toml, yeah. Alright, cool. And what's happening? Why is it different? Oh, never used. Okay. Now we're just gonna pause. Okay, let's import fs because we need to load the config file as well. So const, okay, let me just do it here. Fs is equal to require the file system. Alright, import fs, and we can now read our toml file. Let's rename this to thumbnail base name. Alright, so thumbnail base name, that way as we write more code we will know exactly what it is. Alright, cool. Now we can load our config file. So Hugo config Hugo config, let's just call it Hugo config is equal to fs.read sync. Okay, now I want to point out something here, something very important. If you check the type for the map method or for the map callback, all right, it returns a Notion page, not a promise, a Notion page. So don't use async here, or don't use async or make async calls or things like that, because everything you do here should be synchronous. All right, so don't return promises or things like that. So read file sync, and the file you want to read is remember we're working in the root folder. The file you want to read is config.toml and const past config. Now I'm gonna just pass the config file. To do that, just say toml.pass Hugo config, and we want to read the base URL. All right, so we want to read base URL. All right, cool. So let's just read base URL is going to be equal to past config. Oh no, past config dot base URL. Sorry for that. Dot base URL. Alright, cool. Now we can create the link to to our how can I say, to our thumbnail. Oh, man, I forgot really quick. So yeah, okay. I want to just point out. In fact, let's actually go back to. Okay, we can't go back because there's no one actually using it. So picture, yeah, let's go back to picture. if we check our site, okay, I think I closed it. If we check our site, let's open the website. Where's the link now? Okay, I'm just gonna restart this just to get the localhost URL. Alright, there you go. So we open it. So if we check where this image is, right? This picture image. Copy, save image. Okay, where do I go? Yeah, open image in new tab. And let's just check the path. So it's in our base URL / picture. Alright? So that means we can do something like this, images. Yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do. So / images that. Let's just go back for our thumbnail. We're gonna do that. Okay, so thumbnail URL. So thumbnail URL is gonna be equal to, first of all, we insert our base URL, and we put the /, and then you're gonna say images, and then you're just gonna put the / again, and then we're gonna say our our thumbnail base name. I mean, there you go. So that's where our thumbnail is gonna be. Thumbnail URL is gonna be base URL, images, thumbnail base name. In fact, we can actually write this directly to the page object. So page dot other data dot thumbnail URL. The thumbnail URL. So page dot other data the thumbnail URL is equal to that. Alright, there you go. So now we can come back and update this to other data dot thumbnail URL. Thumbnail URL. Thumbnail URL. There we go. Alright, cool. Oh, and let's just change this for now to localhost. Alright. Obviously, when we deploy it, we're gonna modify it to our Netlify URL or our Netlify base URL. Alright, so there we're running for now, and okay, let's test it. Let's test it out. Let's just check. Yes, we got everything. We are fine, and yeah. Alright, cool. Let's clear this and let's test it out. Okay, let me just save this. Okay, let me save everything. Okay. Hopefully it works the first time. I mean, the first time is always a time where, you make mistakes, so. Okay, it's flashed all the articles. Oh, and it's downloading the images, as you can see there. And yep, let's just check. There we go. Static images, and all the images are just here. So okay, let's check if there we go. Oh, this is beautiful. This is how our blog looks like. So everything that's here is coming straight from Notion, obviously, except for these articles that were already there. We're going to delete them. So everything that's here is coming from Notion. You can see the title, the description, the date, and the thumbnails. In fact, let's open an article and look at how beautiful this is. And yeah, everything, I mean, even includes the number of words, how long it takes to read it. So we are on the right path. In fact, I think we're done on this side. We can now, start integrating it on with Netlify and GitHub. So let me see. Yeah, this is what motion link allows one to do, you know, create stuff like this directly from Notion, you know, without you know third party stuff and like that. Okay, one thing I want to do, I mean, one more thing I want to do. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but one more thing I want to do is, so if you check here, the block transformers dot image, right? We are overriding the default block transformer, right? And we're setting our own transformer for this specific page, all right? That's how I see it. Yeah, for this specific page. And we're not writing it back. I don't know if that's going to cause any problems, or like perhaps, you know, after this page someone might want the default transformer for an image, but we already inserted our own. So what you can do is just write it back. So block transformers dot image is equal to default image transformer. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna make any difference. We just you know like understanding that, hey, we overrode something and we are now done with it. Why don't you just write it back? So yeah, we just being the good people, I guess. So let's just check that, and it's flashing everything. I think it's gonna fetch the thumbnails. Then, so what Motion Link does, it basically fetches, or it flashes the markdown, and then after flashing all the markdown, it fetches all the images. In fact, that's why fetch media doesn't return a promise, because the images are not fetched immediately. You get a media object back immediately, but the images themselves are only fetched once the markdown has been written, which is quite cool. Again, it comes down to the fact that it's influenced by the fact that in the map callback you cannot have promises, so that's why they made it such that it doesn't return a promise, which is quite cool, like I said. Alright, cool. So now what you can do is just clean up a little before we integrate with Netlify, because that's what you're going to do next. So let's just clean up a little. What first thing you want to do is ignore the images we fetch from Notion. So ignore everything in static images. So ignore everything in static images. In fact, let's ignore everything, all the media that is fetched by Motion Link. So the different media is images, videos, and then you have audio, and then everything else is written in other media. So you have images, videos, audio, and then everything else is written in other media, like your PDFs, your doc files, and things like that. So we clean that up. Let's see what else we can clean up. Obviously we want to keep this, the blog post template. Okay, now what you want to do is we want to ignore the articles that are fetched by Motion Link. Alright, so you want to ignore the articles fetched by Motion Link. So now I'm trying to understand how we can do that. In fact, we can ignore everything that's here except for the index. Let me check how the index looks. Yes. Yeah, let's just update this because this is me. Alright, so this is Batanga MGU TSI. That's my surname, that's what they call me. Yay. Alright, so you want to ignore everything in blog except for the index. So let's do that. So you're just going to say content en blog, everything there. Alright, but now we're just gonna not ignore the index. Index.md, alright? Don't ignore the index.md file. Okay, how does this work? Oh, there we go. So we ignore everything except for the index.md file. Let me see what else we can clean up. Yeah, that's basically everything for now. So yeah, so just a checklist of where we are right now. So we downloaded or installed Hugo, and we created a new website, and we used the theme freely available on the internet. Hugo is a lot of themes that you can download from the internet. We downloaded a theme and we built our blog with it, and then we installed Motion Link, and we are now able to pull content into our website with Motion Link, or with what do you call this? To pull data from Notion into our website or into our blog with Motion Link. And what we can do now is just test if we can build this content. So I'm just gonna run Hugo minify. In fact, let me see what the template says about or what the theme says about building, about how you can build websites with it. I think it says something. There you go. So npm install Hugo D GCC. GC. So Hugo D, and we just check DC building site, and we're gonna run this on a web server. I have a server, like a testing server right here with me, and I'm gonna use it. Oh yes. One more thing we need to ignore is the public folder. All right, we don't want to check in our public folder into GitHub. Git. So just ignore everything in public. Okay, what did I say? Public. So ignore everything in public. There we go. Alright, so now I'm just gonna run my HTTP server right on the public folder. You can download this from npm, npm install global HTTP server. It's really nice for quick testing and stuff, and I use it quite a lot when doing this. So there you go, it's now serving. Let's just open our blog, and there we go. So this is what you're gonna see when we deploy into Notion. All right, cool stuff. Things are working, and okay, I don't mind those errors because I don't know what they mean. So let's ignore that because our blog is working. So things like that aren't really our problem. Okay, so we're now just gonna commit and push everything, and then gonna add a GitHub workflow so that every time we update content from Notion, it's uploaded into our website. All right, so git add everything and git commit. What should I call this? Because now it's everything, it's not like individual changes. So the website, just gonna call it website blog, and that's everything. So git push origin. We are now ready to actually upload our website to Netlify. So how are we gonna do that? Let's just close this. So we're gonna create a new folder called .github workspaces. No, workflows. My bad. I'm thinking about Notion right now. So .github workflows, and okay, I could have just created a file, but you're gonna call it Netlify hosting merge and Motion Link. Yeah, merge and Motion Link, because it's gonna upload our website, our blog, every time we push changes to GitHub. But it's also gonna respond to Motion Link publish events, which are those tags we saw earlier. So Netlify hosting merge and Motion Link dot YAML, yummy. Alright, cool. So you don't have to write this from scratch because I find it really tiring. Or not really tiring, but that's not really necessary. What you can do is, there we go. So you just go to the motion link documentation, get started, and just copy what we have here, and then just come paste it here, and then work from there. Alright, we're gonna call it site deploy. Let me just change this to site deploy. Okay, so when you push, okay, this is the tag that motion link pushes every time, a publish event, or this basically a publish event. So on push tags, and we also want to respond to on push to branches, to the main branch, I mean. So branches, main. So on push tags and on push branches, and the branches main. So deploy to Netlify, we run, so we install everything and we run motion link, and what we want to run after this is Hugo. So we install the npm packages, we run motion link, and we're gonna run Hugo, right? And if you notice here, when you run motion link, we insert the motion link vars secret key. So what that is basically, let me show you what we're passing here. So this, oh my bad. So this is the vars that we're passing, or the variables we're passing, this right here. I have to point out though that you should keep your access key safe, because your access key gives access to your so your access key gives access to your Notion database. So you really want to keep this safe, because if someone has it, then they have access to your database. I'm gonna regenerate this this access key after this video. So even though you can see it, this is not what I'm gonna use when I actually put my blog out there. All right. So we want to run Hugo. So to do that, you basically just say users, and you're gonna use this GitHub action. So we use this GitHub action, Hugo at v2, and now we just need to pass in some parameters. So with extended, obviously you want to use the extended version, so Hugo extended, or let's first give it the Hugo version. So 0.89.4. I think that's the version that I have installed on my machine, so that's the version I want to use as well on the GitHub workflow. So with Hugo version 0.89.4, and we want it extended. All right. So extended is true. So there you go. So install the npm packages, run motion link, use the Hugo GitHub action, pass in the Hugo version, and you want to use the extended version. All right. Basically, this is when you install it. I think so. So once it's installed, we just need to run it. So now it's installed. We just need to run Hugo d gc. So run Hugo d gc. That's how we actually built it on our machine. So Hugo d passing the gc, and yeah, I think that is it for now. So oh yes, the folder that you want to publish is the public folder, right? You want to publish the public folder. So all we have to do now is push this to GitHub, or before we push it to GitHub, we just need to insert these Netlify auth token, Netlify site ID, and the motion link vars. All right. So let's go to GitHub and do that, and then we're gonna push, and we should have something hosted. Okay, before we get the Netlify stuff, we first need to create a Netlify website. So let's go to Netlify. I'm just gonna create a new one right here. So Netlify netlify.com, and I'm just gonna sign in. Alright, cool. Now I'm gonna create a new website. Alright, this is interesting because I don't see anything that says create website, just says create site from GitHub, which is not what I want to do. We don't want to create a new site from GitHub, because what that does, it will listen for changes in your GitHub and then it will download the website from GitHub and deploy it. What we want to do, we have GitHub listen for changes in our Notion database and then publish the website into Netlify, not the other way around. So let's just drop it in an empty folder. Just gonna drop in an empty folder here, and then just to get the site ID. And then once we have that empty folder, we're gonna push the real thing. So I'm just gonna create an empty folder, and then I'm gonna open it with VS Code. So I'm just gonna open this with VS Code. So just gonna add a dummy HTML file. So index.html. So create an index.html file, and let's just add h1 hello world. So this just to get the site ID, and that's basically all right? So we get our empty folder. Let's just rename it to site. So there we go. And now we just need to drop it here, or drop it here rather. So let me just put these guys next to each other. Oh no, and where is it now? There you go. Just gonna drop it here. There we go. So let's open it. There's a website, right? So now we have a website. So the first thing you may want to do is just go to site settings. Let's just remove this. So once you're at site settings, or once you're in site settings, you want to change the site name, which is confusing because it's not allowing me. Oh, there we go. Change site name, and let's call it Patandwa blog. And let's save it. Hopefully it's not taken. Oh, it's not. So Patandwa blog. And okay, so API ID, no, we don't want that. Or is this what we want? Looking for the site ID. I think this is the site ID. So let's just copy this. Yeah, this must be the site ID. I'm just gonna copy that. All right, cool. So we got our site ID. Now we're gonna go to GitHub and create a new secret. Where's my GitHub? Here's my GitHub. No. Okay, let's just open GitHub. And go to my blog. And we create a new secret settings. And then you go to secrets, and we're just gonna add a new secret. So we're looking for, let's just check, Netlify site ID, all right? Netlify site ID. Just paste it here. Netlify site ID. And then add secret. And then create a new repo. Okay, not repo, a new secret. Right now we want to save Netlify auth token, right? So Netlify auth token. Alright, now we're gonna go to our settings, and okay, we go to your profile, go to user settings, and you just keep scrolling down, and let me see. Okay, Just keep going down. There's supposed to be something that says create an auth token or something like that. So let's just go to security. No, applicate. There we go. So register using a Netlify API. Creating personal access or create personal access tokens. Alright, I already have this for my personal website which is basically kind of like my portfolio, if you can call it that. So I'm just going to create a new one. Obviously, I am going to delete it after this video, just to create one that you guys will not see. So you're going to call this one, let me see how we name the previous one. So GitHub Motion Link CI deploy. I mean, this one is the same thing, but this one is for my blog. So GitHub Motion Link blog deploy. So you generate a token, and this is what you want to copy, right? So just copy this. Alright, like I said, I am going to delete this when I'm done with the video. So I'm just going to copy this, and you go back to GitHub. Then under Netlify auth token, you're just going to paste that thing you just copied right now. So for EC, just to double check, for EC. There we go. So then you add your secret. Alright, cool. Now the last one you need to add is motion link vars. Alright, so we already have those right here. Post 3f. This is what you want, this part. If you forgot how we got it, so let me show you. You just go to motion link and just check the little box there, and you show args, and this is what you want to copy. So just copy this, and we go back to GitHub, create a new repository secret. So motion link vars. So just this underscore here. So motion link vars, and just paste it as it is. All right. Then you add your secret. There we go. So now we have everything. We can now push to GitHub, and hopefully everything goes well. And yeah, and then we should be able to start writing content from Notion, and it should reflect on our website without us having to deal with code, markdown files, or anything like that. So let's just do that. So we're going to push our action, our GitHub action, GitHub workflow. So just say git add, and then git commit, adds workflow, and then we're just going to push that. Alright, there you go. So now if you go back to your repo and you just check the code, the workflow should be running. There you go. Now let's just see how fast it goes. So you're starting the job. So the Hugo build has finished. Now at 46 seconds, 47. Alright, there we go. 2 minutes and 7. Okay, let's just check what this means. So insecure mixed content detected. Okay, I think this has to do with our base URL. We just need to update that from HTTP localhost to https://thunderblog.netlify.app, I think. Yeah. So you just need to update that. But for now, let's just check. Yeah. So it took 2 minutes 7 seconds for the what do you call this, for the workflow to finish. So that basically means at most it will take 2 minutes 7 seconds for changes you make on Notion to show up on your website. All right, that's what this basically means. 2 minutes 7 seconds at most for changes to reflect. Okay, let's not say at most. Let's say around about 2 minutes 7 seconds for changes you make on the Notion side to show up on your blog or on our blog. So yeah, this is what this means. So if you go back to Netlify and okay, we are done with this. So if you go back to Netlify and we go back to I want to get out of here. No. Yeah, if we go back to Netlify and we open our website, the images should not work because they're still pointing like to localhost. There we go. This localhost thing is basically the issue. Yeah. All right. In fact, let's just change that really quick because it's really messing up what we have here. So copy this and come paste it in the. So just go to your Hugo config file and you just want to replace this local hosting here. Obviously, when you're testing, in fact, let's do it like this. Because when you're testing, you will want to use localhost. Like when you're testing locally, you want to use localhost. And then once you have it deployed, you will want to use the actual URL. So let's just CV this, and then let me copy this again because I just overwrote it. And I'm just going to paste here the HTTPS URL that we got from Netlify, and then just remove the slash over here, and there we go. So that's where we are. Yeah, now we can just git add, git commit, and git push. Update space URL and push this to origin. So yeah, so once this is done, we should be able to publish content from Notion, which is quite hella dope if you ask me. So let's just see how this workflow goes. So the previous one took 2 minutes 7 seconds, right? So let's just see how this one's gonna go. So the more you run this, the more you basically get an idea of how long it takes for your changes to reflect on your website, all right? And then once you have that idea, then you'll know basically. Obviously, as you can see, the step that takes the most time is the deploying. If we could find a way to perhaps optimize this, I don't know like how to do it. Look at the motion link call. Installing the packages and running motion link only took 18 seconds. Hugo is quite fast, and Hugo is quite fast. That only took 7 seconds, and just starting from from there. So this one is still just starting and you're already at 24 seconds. So this is the step that actually takes most of the time, deploying to Netlify. Hopefully as time goes on, they will make this a little bit faster because it's not so fast and I'm not liking it. But yeah, let's just hope, as time goes on, they will make it faster. Alright, so this time it took 1 minute 54 seconds, which is not that bad. It's actually quite good. 1 minute and 54 seconds. So alright, as you can see, this time we're not getting that email that says we're serving content over an HTTP connection, which is apparently not so good. So let's just click on our blog and everything should be working. There we go. people. We just built something really beautiful here. So this is our blog. This is our blog. So these are the articles we have in Notion. And yeah, obviously, like I did say, I'm going to change this to me. I don't know what image I'm going to use or what photo I'm going to use. I'm not that much of a photo person, but I'm going to find some. I do have Instagram though, so which is quite good. I mean, really good. So yeah. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is basically how we publish content from Notion. Obviously, Motion Link does have documentation. Once you're at this point, I mean, you're literally done. So Motion Link does have documentation. Not here. Where is it? There you go. They do have documentation on how to manage your content, how to publish content, how to unpublish, how to update content, how to remove content. Let's say you let's say you publish something later, learn that hey, people aren't happy doing this, you're gonna get it down, so remove that content. Or you can just unpublish it. I mean, it's up to you. So yeah, so right now we're gonna create a new page, and we're gonna create a new blog post or article. I mean, I call them articles because I'm so used to saying articles. So articles. So we're gonna create a new blog post or article and add the content, and we're gonna publish it. And it should reflect on our website after 1 minute 54 seconds or 1 minute or 2 minutes 7 seconds, somewhere there. All right. So let's go back to Notion, and we're gonna create a new blog post. We're gonna set it to draft because that's where you want to start. Remember, if you're writing new content, or you're adding new content, you're updating content, you want to make sure that the page you're updating is in draft, or okay, let's rather say the page you're updating is not published or completed or public. All right. So take it to draft, do your stuff, and then thereafter you can publish it. So the author is basically going to be me. Okay, we're getting an error saying that our workflow has failed, which is quite weird. But one thing I suspect, in fact, let's open this on GitHub. I suspect that we forgot to include a step or to include a filter to tell Motion Link that we only want published articles to be fetched. All right. Where do I click to see this one? There we go. So let me see what it says. Please add an image to the article with title. There's no title, so I assume it's the new article, which is not supposed to be. What we forgot to add is, let's come back to our Motion Link config, because this is really important. I don't know how I forgot it. So what we forgot to add is, so just here in our database filter, we forgot to, or in our database rule, we forgot to add the filter, right? So what the filter does is basically tell Motion Link that, hey, we want to, or it tells the CLI tool that we only want to pull pages that are published, all right? So let's fix that really quick. So just go to the Motion Link docs, and I think it's a CLI because they already have like a filter that you can start with. There we go, filter. That's what you want. All right. Status published. We only care about published. Let's just update this and like that. And let's put a comma there and push them here. And okay, I'm just gonna remove this because we don't really care about public. We don't really care about completed. Yeah, status. So let me explain this really quick. So Motion Link listens, so according to the documentation, it listens to pages whose status are published, public, or completed, right? So any changes you make there will cause it to tag your repo. So, but when you pull pages from the Notion database, right? Don't assume that you'll only get the pages that MotionLink told you has changed. No, you still have to specify a filter to tell Notion that you want which pages from the database that has just changed. All right, and what we want is the published pages. So let's just fix that because that's what's causing the error. So filter only published. So git add, git commit. In fact, let's keep public because I don't know. Perhaps later we decide, hey, we want things to be public, or we don't want to use publish, we want to use public, whether an article is public or not. Let's just keep that. So git add that, git commit, adds filter object to a database rule. The database rule. Then just push this to git push origin, and GitHub should be happy now. So yeah. Okay, so let's go back to where we were before we got disturbed. We were adding new content. Where's Notion? Right here. So we were adding new content. So I said the author is basically me, and the description. My favorite books. My best books. All right. Let's just say the books I love. Just gonna put out the books I love, and reading. It's gonna be like reading. Let's just say reading. Not hey, come on, you're not writing a letter. My favorite books. I haven't read much books, especially especially when it comes to novels and books like that. But this year, however, I have taken a dive in some books. Some really interesting books and some really interesting books. Obviously, this is why I haven't read much this year. Well, I have read, just not that much. So just gonna put in the books that are in front of me because that's what I've been reading recently. Clean Code by Robert C. Martin. Clean Code by Robert C. Martin. This is a really great book. If you write code and you work in an agile thing, you work in a team that's quite agile. This is a really great book to try out. And Head First Kotlin. Well, I thought I was gonna like this book, but turns out that hey, it's not my thing. Kotlin is a great language, but the book I bought just made me feel a little stupid. Just didn't like the approach. And thing is, when I was learning design patterns, I used the book, and that one was good. But I thought, since I'm starting with Kotlin, I was gonna like this one as well. But turns out not. No, coming to Kotlin, it's not really the same thing. So, Clean Code by Robert C. Martin, and Head First Kotlin. So, Head First Kotlin by John and David. I also have a textbook in front of me. at school they made us learn systems design, so analysis and design in a changing world, which is quite interesting. I mean, it's a great book. It's just too long though. Luckily, it was part of a course, so you had to read it, which means I now know how to design systems and analyze them. Yeah, it is quite good because if I had to, learn this by myself, I was probably just gonna keep reading, Clean Code by Robert C. Martin. By who? Okay, just so many people. By so many people. Actually, by 3 people. Let's not write them out because their names seem so long. By 3 people. Alright, cool. So now we have our article. Okay, we need to add a thumbnail for it. Okay, for that, I'm just gonna go Google Books, book thumbnail. I mean, I don't know. I'm searching. Hopefully, I find something useful. I'm just gonna copy this. Obviously, this could be copyrighted. So, but for the sake of this video, we're just gonna use stuff. Well, let's just take what they have. Seems like really legit. So, if I get sued, then I mean, just for the video. So, you're gonna get screwed together with the viewers. So, save the image to downloads, and then just gonna add it to my post as the thumbnail. So let's just insert it there. There we go. So now we have a post and it has a thumbnail, which is quite good. So now check out what happens when we. Nice. So now we added our new article, still in draft. Let's just publish it. In fact, let's publish all of them. Yeah, let's publish all of. Yeah, these are the 2 articles that are published. Coming back to the thing about published articles and not published articles. These are the 2 articles that were published, right? But somehow, in our blog, we see all of them. Where's my blog thing? Right here. Somehow we see all of them, even the ones that were not published. Oh, yes. So before we saw all of them, even the ones that are not published. But after we added that filter, we're now only seeing the ones that are published, right? So let's publish another one. Okay, let's publish this one. So it should take around about 2 minutes for the changes to actually reach our website. So let's give it 2 minutes. All right, let's just keep refreshing. So it's gonna take around about 2 minutes because we saw like how long it takes on the GitHub workflow to process everything. So still 2 articles that are published. By now I'm sure that MotionLink has, well, it's quite fast at tagging the repo, so it has tagged it. So let's just wait. And yeah, this is how you basically publish content to Notion to a static website, whether you used Hugo or whatever, or for my website I just use pure HTML. My personal website, I just use HTML, no static site generator. For the team that I'm working with, we used, what's it called? Docusaurus. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Docusaurus. Yeah, that's the one that we used. And there's so many. Like I saw the other day, the other team he was using Gritsum. Yeah, Gritsum. And I mean, Next.js, you can also use Next.js. You can also, well, I haven't really seen how you can use it with Next.js. Like, I haven't experimented much with Next.js to know how you can, publish content to a Next.js website directly from Notion. I mean, I know you can make the calls to the Notion API from Next.js, but the API is slow, especially when it comes to media. So I know how a website built with Next.js from Notion actually, how fast it is. Let's refresh and I mean, what's the time now? There we go. So there's our third article. And we now have three articles published. So, I mean, you can publish more content directly from Notion. No need to deal with code, no need to deal with a third party CMS. I mean, if you use Notion every day, and it's the thing that you use to manage your life, your teams, and everything, then it basically makes sense to, want to use it for your content as well. I mean, like, you can use the same tool for, for everything, just to minimize your content or your planning and everything being so all over the place and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically how you build a blog with Notion and Hugo. Those are two of the greatest things right now that are happening to me. So yeah, let's open our blog, my favorite books, the books I love, and we see that, and we can see the content we wrote. So people, that's it. That's how you build it. Do take your time. If you struggle with anything, do reach out to me. I will include a link to I will include my email, or in fact, do reach out in the motioning discussions, because that's basically where I hang out these days. So do reach out there if you struggle with anything, and I'll be there, all right, to help you with anything. And if you have any questions, actually just use the comments. Actually, just post out your questions there, and yeah, I will try to get back to you as soon as possible on how help you with anything that you might be struggling with. So yeah, all the best with using MotionLink and using Hugo and Notion. Notion is the best thing, So Hugo and Notion, that's how you build a blog with those two. And kudos, I am out.